When the Midnight Walk was first revealed late last year, it caught the attention of so many people for so many reasons. The first thing you notice is the claymation art style, reminiscent of movies like The Nightmare Before Christmas, which isn't something you see too often in video games. Then you find out it's a hybrid game, capable of being played flat screen on PS5 or in VR with PSVR2. And then to top it off, you find out that developer Moonhood Games is comprised of former Zoink Games members who made the unforgettable Ghost Giant on PSVR1. So did Moonhood deliver? Let's find out. Before we even get started, I need to tell you how the last few days have gone. Fast Travel sent over keys for the Midnight Walk almost a week ago, but there were quite a few issues with the build they sent. Most notably, the social screen display looking like this. And with so many games to cover this week, I couldn't hold off playing and wait for the much needed patch to arrive, which FYI showed up only about 10 hours before the game went live on the PlayStation Store and about 17 hours before I left for PAX. This all made getting the review completed way more difficult than it should have been. Fortunately, I was able to check out all the day one patches and make sure all the information here is up to date, but there was just no time to recapture all the footage and re-edit everything. So the footage you're going to see during the duration of this review comes from AJ's playthrough of the Steam version. And I don't say this terribly often, but I sure am jealous of the people who got to play this on Steam. Because on PSVR2, the Midnight Walk isn't just running reprojected. It also doesn't have a lot of the deep blacks you see here. As of this writing, the headset haptics still weren't implemented, but maybe worst of all, it's lower resolution than you'd expect and shimmers a lot, to the point where I'd say it looks like a PSVR1 game. An absolutely beautiful PSVR1 game, but a PSVR1 game nonetheless. And that's a shame, because the Midnight Walk should be one of the most stunning things we've ever seen in VR. All the environments and character models are sculpted out of clay and animated in a way to make you think you're running through one of Tim Burton's classic films. Tons of stuff moves in the foreground and background, and the sense of scale here is incredible, with massive characters looming not only out in the background, but some of them will walk right along beside you. This is what VR was made for. But on PSVR2 at least, the soundtrack might have been the most memorable part for me. It's so obvious that the same people who scored Ghost Giant returned to work their magic on the Midnight Walk, because the same soft piano parts and the same strings that tug at your heart are all here in full force. Also making a return, I'm guessing at least, is the narrator from Ghost Giant.
Don't venture into the swamp under the moon, they cautioned. There, wild eyes watch, and itching teeth yearn for succulent heads like ours.
So if you're a fan of what Zoink Games was doing on PSVR1, you're in the right place. The Midnight Walk kicks off with you, the burnt one, awakening from a deep sleep. You recover your eyes and your ears, and it doesn't take too long to meet Potboy, who will be your companion for the rest of the adventure. And man, Potboy is such a little puppy. He runs around with reckless abandon, lighting whatever fires you ask him to light, never talking, but making wild expressions and dancing when he's happy. And without getting into the details of the story, it's your job to protect Potboy and escort him to the end of the Midnight Walk, which is the name of the trail that you're on. And it does feel like a trail. There's only ever one way forward, making it feel pretty linear. And along the way, you'll meet a cast of memorable characters, all seeming like monsters you might encounter in other games. But here, they're given a backstory. They're humanized, all disparate, but slowly the mask falls off, and their true intentions become much more apparent as you learn their full story. It can get pretty emotional at times. At first, it seems like the Midnight Walk will be more of a walking sim than an actual game, and there are probably arguments to be made that it is one. But rest assured, there's more here than just story. There are plenty of puzzles, none of which should slow you down too much, and just the tiniest bit of first-person shooting. But again, all done as part of the puzzle solving. There's no actual combat here. Instead, you learn to avoid monsters by sneaking past them, hiding in wardrobes, or using the eye-tracked blink mechanic to alter the world around you. There are even moments that require you to close your eyes and focus on the sounds in the environment, making me really happy that I was playing using my Pulse headphones. Despite the linearity at play here, whenever the game tells you to go right, make sure you go left first to find whatever collectibles you can. There's a lot of them to find, and it's pretty good stuff. Figurines of the characters you've met, vinyls containing different tracks from the game, audio logs, movie reels. I took my time with the Midnight Walk, finishing in just under 5 hours, and probably only walked away with about 2/3 of the collectibles total.
You shouldn't be. Why?
Okay, so other than the resolution, I do have a few other minor complaints. Sometimes Potboy runs about 6 inches off the ground. The cutscenes feel strange in VR. You get random camera angles of what's happening around you, but none of them are markedly better than the view you would have had if it just stayed in first person. There's a vignette whenever you're in stealth mode. I encountered a bug when leaving this wardrobe on multiple occasions where the game pushed me through the doors but still thought I was in the wardrobe, causing nothing in the world to function properly, forcing me to quit out and reload my save. And there are a few things that I wish were just a little more VRAF, like when you grab onto this creature that flies you across the land, you just hit the X button to grab on instead of actually holding on to anything. It's a minor concession we make when it comes to hybrid games, but thought it was worth pointing out regardless. I don't think it's a stretch to say that the Midnight Walk will go down as one of the most creative VR games of the whole generation. And as I was playing, I couldn't stop myself from comparing the story and characters to so many classic movies that have come before. Pan's Labyrinth, Mirror Mask, Where the Wild Things Are, and obviously The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's absolutely unforgettable. But sadly, the resolution on the PSVR2 version kind of ruins the overall aesthetic. It makes it far from the best way of experiencing what's otherwise a masterpiece. And if it ever gets the resolution patch it needs, add another point to my score. But in the meantime, I think this is pretty fair.